Hey guys, just wanted to do my review of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Seasons 4, Episodes 4 through 6, known as Let Me Stand Next to Your Fire, Lock Up, and The Good Samaritan. So, the basically general, just to summarize the three episodes, Aid is running some tests on May to make sure she's back to her senses after being infected by the ghost. Um, and, ba- and, ba- and Fitz is trying to look Simmons is trying to look for is going to go to a new apartment and pick one out. It turns out Daisy led her there, because it turns out the Watchdogs got their hands on a list of Inhumans under Shield's watch, and so they have to go after Hellfire. And meanwhile, Coulson's trying to do some investigating the ghost, and he goes to talk to Eli Morrow. Robbie Ray is his uncle, and he won't divulge any information because he knows Coulson's a government agent. And Mac recognizes Robbie showing up at the prison as the Ghost Rider, and both Mac and Coulson chase him down on Lola, but of course, his Robbie's car is faster, but luckily Coulson had landed the Quinjet in front of the car, and so it crashes into it, and so they're able to take the Ghost Rider captive. And so they convince him to help. They convince Ghost Rider to help them. So they go to talk to his uncle, and he finds out that he was part of the project in which they were trying to create matter from nothing, and the Darkhold were supposed to help them with their experiments. And also when Simmons and Daisy try to go warn Hellfire about how he's in danger, it turns out that he made a deal with the Watchdogs to help them hunt down all the Inhumans, and as long as they would take him out last, because he actually hates being an Inhuman ever since the events with Hive. And so it leads to Daisy and Simmons being trapped in a fireworks shop. Ghost Rider, Coulson, and Mac come to the rescue, with Ghost Rider having an all-out brawl with Hellfire and eventually kicking his ass, and using like the fire, igniting the chains with fire move that Hellfire was basically using last season. And of course they have to escape because the whole battle leads to the blowing up the fireworks factory, and they take in Hellfire alive. But Coulson says that Robbie and Daisy can't continue this whole going off the grid, acting on their own, because not even Red Skull, Daniel Whitehall, or Nick Fury was able to find the Darkhold, and so they all need to work together. And so they plan try to extract Eli Morrow from prison, but Lucy Bauer's there, and he lets out all the other prisoners to try to stop them, and at least this whole prison riot. And Daisy goes and tries to stay behind and get May and Coulson and Robbie and Eli out, and she'll stay behind to distract the guards, even though I think she lost one of her gauntlets in the whole riot, and it's basically almost puts herself in, and basically almost gets herself killed, and May chews her out for thinking that knows exactly what she's doing, which is basically becoming a death seeker, and how she thinks that dying is trying to make amends for Lincoln's death. And it seems to, it seems to kind of affect her. It's something that kind of affect her a little bit, but and also may fall on deaf ears. But it turns out, but the thing that happens is that Lucy ends up kidnapping Eli, and so they're able to go to a factory in which they use it was like a Roxxon power plant that was originally owned by Isodyne, the company that was working on the Zero Matter and Agent Carter. They're using similar equipment to recreate the experiment and use the Darkhold basically essentially bring back, recreate the experiment. And it turns out that you found out that Lucy's husband Joseph, who was put in a coma, and that Lucy had infected in order to figure out what the book was, and ended up subsequently dying. Joseph was the one who put out the hit on Robbie and his little brother. It was supposed to be he was basically, the guys were supposed to kill Eli to stop him from getting the Darkhold, because he's the one who wanted the power for himself, and who was actually, because Robbie Reyes stayed behind to kill the guy who carried out the hit. It's the reason why Eli got kidnapped, and then turns out, and Ghost Rider eventually kills Lucy. Coulson gets chewed out by the new director, because because he finds out through Nadir, who is like this Inhumans senator, that she had found prison footage of the Ghost Rider working with Shield, and now he's being blackmailed by her. He's being basically blackmailed by Simmons to not say anything, to basically that she won't, as long as she doesn't get called out for lying about Ada, she won't tell everyone that he was never at the events of the bombing in Vienna from Captain America 3. And so it leads to, the episode ends with the final episode, in The Good Samaritan. You find out that, well, one, that Robbie actually got his powers from, who actually died in the incident, in the car crash, where his brother was paralyzed, but he was brought back to life by another Ghost Rider, presumably Johnny Blaze, and Blaze passed over his powers to Robbie. And then you also found out that Eli was the bad guy by successfully using the machine to get his powers back, and he's able to create matter from nothing now. But basically, Coulson, Fitz, and Robbie have all disappeared, and I guess tonight's episode, and I guess the next episode is supposed to explain what happens. So, what do you guys think of the episode so far? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.